Quit barking, boys. Turkey, quit barking, buddy. YouTube doesn't want to hear you bark. No, sir. YouTube does not want to hear you bark at all. Let's put you over here. Let's go here. Good afternoon, YouTube. So, um, quite a bit going on in politics today in the news. Missouri has just banned transgender health care for youth. I find that absolutely appalling, personally. Um, Donald Trump's nonsense with Jim Jordan and holding this quote unquote field hearing, which will happen Monday. Oh my, there's so much craziness going on that is caused by the right wing Republicans and religious extremists in our country that I feel we would not be having the types of issues that we are having and the discrimination um, if they did not have some of the power that they held, politically speaking. So, with that, let's begin. We are going to play Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Let's make sure that my cheats are on. I have fun playing it with the cheats on. Um, to be able to keep my powers without dying, to be able to keep Yoshi. Um, I like them. Not everybody does. I've played it quite a bit without them as well. Um, so let's get started here. Well, that's not what I wanted to do on my phone. I'm also looking. Alexa, stop. I don't know why she just started speaking out of nowhere. I didn't even say her stupid name. Let me see here. I'm on my phone looking for my news app, MSNB or NBC News, to see what's going on while I decide what I'm going to talk about while playing the game. Let's go ahead and we'll start a brand new one, guys. Only got about a half hour, 40 minutes to online orders from Walmart and stop by the pharmacy for my friend. Okay, there we go. We're gonna go ahead and do it that way. So let's see here. MSNBC's headline news. Um, is Melania Trump done? The wife of the former president has shown little interest in following the path of other wives of presidents and presidential candidates. Melania Trump apparently was not with Donald, when he was arraigned on 34 criminal charges in New York last week. She was at Mar-a-Lago later that day, or she was not present at Mar-a-Lago later that day when he made his ridiculous ramblings. He called it a press conference, but let's be real, it was just ramblings, and that was all that it was. Just incoherent babbling of witch hunts and blah blah blah. I'm above the law, blah blah blah. Just absolutely, utterly ridiculous. I just these Republicans feel no shame, y'all. They just they have no sense of shame. I mean, it's quite obvious simply for the simple fact that they would continue to support a man like this who was under criminal indictment, directly related to an extramarital affair with a porn actress, and then paying off said porn actress in exchange to keep her silent while running for president. Those are crimes. Those are crimes that directly affect how a individual governs as president, I think that I am absolutely appalled that the Family Values Party, supposedly, as they want to call themselves, um, would continue to support a man like this. It's just it's mind boggling. I don't understand how they could continue to claim the superior moral higher ground, um, while simultaneously supporting a man that's under criminal indictment, a man who has had multiple extramarital affairs, has been married 3 times, divorced twice, twice impeached. The A failed one-term president is just it's absolutely astonishing to me. But that's where we're at with the Republicans. It's not no longer about what's best for the country as a whole. It is how can they continue to dictate to the majority of the country um, what they want done, what they feel is right, and everyone should have to live as they see fit. While behind closed doors, they can say and do and fuck anyone they want. It's appalling, honestly, absolutely appalling to me. Just it's disgusting. What else do we have in the news? What else do we have in the news, y'all? Trump's favorability collapses in new poll. That was from Morning Joe the other day. Yes, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is down to 24, 25 points, which is a collapse of like 4 points from where he was, with a unfavorability rate of I think 56 or 57%, which is like 6 points up from where it was a month or so ago. So maybe there is hope that some conservatives are realizing the situation they're in with this the person. The FBI has debunked Jim Jordan whistleblower charade. Little boys, please stop barking. YouTube does not want to hear you bark, Buddha, or you. Quit, boys. Quit.
They barely eked out the House majority following the most disappointing midterm results for an out-of-power party in decades. A midterm that was so disappointing, I would argue, many others have, largely because Republicans focused so intently on fringe Fox News culture war issues.
Quit, baby.
And now, their governing agenda is focused almost exclusively on
Old Man Perkins, lay down.
Culture war issues. For instance, do they have a serious, credible plan to tackle inflation? No,
Run.
Of course not. Have they even pretended to have one?
Perky, stop.
They're focused on Hunter Biden. And whether
Perkins, stop.
The Democrats who are now unburdened from the responsibilities of unified government, which are difficult.
I have messed this all up.
Yesterday, President Joe Biden took
Stop, Perkins. Now, old man.
To task, who's the face of the Republican Party, for a spurious claim she made about overdose deaths. Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few more. They're going Ain't she amazing?
Oh, you gotta love Joe Biden, man. Oh, he is just, sometimes he is funny.
I shouldn't regress prohibitions. I've read it. She's very specific recently, saying that a mom, a poor mother who lost 2 kids to fentanyl, that I killed her sons. Well, the interesting thing is that fentanyl they took came during the last administration. Look, folks. Anyway, I don't want to get started. You kind of wanted to get started, didn't you?
You did. He did. He wanted to get started. I agree, Chris.
Political strategy for Democrats to highlight and elevate Marjorie Taylor Greene at every possible turn from now until 2024. Congressman Jamie Raskin also went on a very satisfying tear this week after his colleague, Lauren Boebert, used a rather worn and obnoxious Republican verbal tick favored by Donald Trump. The gentlelady was making a grammatical error that I heard some of her colleagues make before. I believe she referred to a Democrat solution. I heard another member talk about a Democrat member and a Democrat plan. I just wanted to educate our distinguished colleagues that Democrat is the noun. When you use it as an adjective, you say the Democratic member, the Democratic solution.
I love Jamie Raskin as well. He is so amazing.
I assume it's a good faith grammatical error the first few times, but after people are corrected several times and they continue to say it, it seems like it's an act of incivility, as if every time we mention the other party, it just came out with a kind of political speech impediment, like, oh, the Banana Republican Party, as if we say that every time we mention the Banana Republican member, or the Banana Republican plan, or the Banana Republican conference. But we wouldn't do that. You can kind of tell he's been holding that one in for a while. There was also that moment a few weeks ago when freshman New York Democrat Dan Goldman, part of the new Republican-led Committee on the Alleged Weaponization of the Government, pushed the committee chair of that committee, Jim Jordan, on the dozens, he said, of secret whistleblowers that Jordan claims exist without offering any evidence.
You talk about dozens of whistleblowers. When are we going to get that information?
When they testify, when we work with, I'll work with the ranking member on that.
You don't have any transcriptions of their interviews?
We have the first one, and we have the dozens who come and talk to our office.
They talk to your office privately?
They talk to Republican staff, right?
And they're not transcribed, no notes, no nothing?
The first one happened Tuesday.
No, I'm not talking about the first one.
The first one happened Tuesday. The next one happens tomorrow. The third one happens next Wednesday, and we'll continue to do that.
You just said dozens. Do you have notes from those, or they're just talking to you, to your staff?
Mr. Chairman.
Are there dozens, Jim? Really? Dozens?
Really? Yeah.
So that exchange happened last month, and the reason we played it for you, it's notable, because since then, the committee has had testimony from a few of those so-called whistleblowers behind closed doors. Republicans claim that these men, who are all former or suspended FBI agents, have inside information about anti-conservative bias among federal law enforcement. And I gotta say, to take a step back for one moment, right? The idea in the abstract that there are corrupt
come on, Bobby.
intelligence or national security or law enforcement agencies in the United States
Not mean to do that.
seems perfectly plausible to me. In fact, if you look at the history of the FBI, there's been a pretty long record of that in the FBI, okay? So in the abstract, not a crazy contention. That was in the details, though. Are these really credible folks?
Right.
To a new 300-plus page report from the Democrats on the committee, Jim Jordan's
The credibility
don't
matters.
exactly seem to have the goods. So one of them is a retired agent named George Hill. He once tweeted that the January 6th insurrection was actually a setup, and claimed that the January 6th pipe bomber, remember that person that we have footage of planting those pipe bombs, and has still not been caught, that pipe bomber is actually a Democratic operative working with the FBI, and that here, the FBI are the brown shirt enforcers of the DNC. Okay? So in other words, the FBI whistleblower thinks the FBI operate like fascists, like Nazis, in support of the Democratic Party. This is, just to be clear here, in case you forgot, the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the federal law enforcement, okay? An army of liberalism, a fascist army of liberalism. Jordan also brought forward a suspended agent named Garrett O'Boyle. This is another witness. This gentleman, quote, compared COVID-19 vaccine exceptions to the actions of, yes, a Nazi police force. Now, this O'Boyle figure, who's the second of Jordan's illustrious whistleblowers, also has some notable ties to some of Donald Trump's extreme MAGA allies. For instance, he admitted to receiving financial assistance from a former Trump administration figure. That guy, remember him, named Kash Patel?
Oh, Lord.
Patel was Trump's ally in his perceived battle against the so-called deep state, which he claimed, without evidence, was sabotaging his presidency from within. And according to the report, when O'Boyle needed a lawyer, Patel hooked him up with one of, and I couldn't make this up if I tried, one of Trump's coup-pushing election attorneys.
Well, of course they did.
Circle of life there.
Right.
That's not all. We got another one. The third alleged whistleblower. This guy's named Stephen Friend. He also has ties to Kash Patel. He says Patel gave him more than $5,000 shortly after they were introduced, which is a nice thing to do when you just meet someone. I don't know if he does that for everyone he meets. Patel actually gave him a job as well after a friend left the FBI. Now, Friend resigned from the Bureau, and in part, he says the reason was over concerns that the FBI used excessive force when a SWAT raid was used to detain a January 6th defendant. And again, I am duty bound to note here, the FBI or any law enforcement using excessive force in a SWAT raid is a completely plausible complaint, right? Totally plausible. This happens all the time. So it sounds reasonable enough in theory, except, keep reading, according to the New York Times quote, the suspect in question was accused of being a member of a right-wing militia group connected to the 3%er movement. Okay, well, did they really need a SWAT team? Documents in his case indicate that on January 6th, he posted a video of himself outside the Capitol wearing body armor, not great, and a gas mask, okay, and carrying an AR-15 style rifle.
Lovely.
Okay.
I think that.
You probably want to be a little careful.
Right.
What's more, according to the report, quote, on cross-examination, Friend admitted that he was not a member of the SWAT team and did not participate in any decisions about the use of the SWAT team.
Well, go
and he
figure.
acknowledged that the individuals arrested that day were known by the FBI to be armed and dangerous.
Huh.
This was Jim Jordan's smoking gun. This was proof of the alleged weaponization of the government.
Right.
Now, Jordan isn't going to quit here.
No, he's never going to quit.
He sent to the head of the FBI last year. He also wants answers about the attempted firings of FBI employees who were engaged in protected First Amendment activity on January 6, 2021.
Oh, my.
What he means by that is folks who were protesting with Trump's mob in Washington on January 6th. Those are the fired FBI agents Jim Jordan thinks are being treated unfairly.
They're definitely not being treated unfairly. It's absolutely absurd. Jim Jordan is a nutcase. Let's just be honest here. He's an absolute insane nutcase. I'm in Ohio, not in Jim Jordan's district, thank gods, but I am in Ohio. Jim Jordan is a influential member of the Ohio Republican Party. He's got quite a horrid history here with the allegations of non-reporting sexual abuse and such from Ohio State. That is very concerning. I don't understand, I guess. Boys. I guess I just don't understand ultimately what their end goal is in all of this, other than to turn our country into a theocracy, into a fascist dictatorship controlled by extremists on the right. That is extremely, extremely alarming to me. And it should be alarming to all of us that this is what their ultimate agenda is. Their ultimate goal is to push this propaganda in such a way that removes the rights of the LGBTQ community, of women, of African Americans, of Muslims, of Latinos, of any minority group outside of white, straight, cisgendered Christian extremists. And that is, we have to continue to daily call this out and say what they are doing is satanic terrorism. What they are doing is domestic terrorism that is leading to the disenfranchisement of hundreds of millions of people in this country. The reality of it is that we Democrats are truly the majority of this country. There are more Democratic and independent, left-leaning members of society in the United States than there are Republicans, right-wing extremists, and that's just the reality of it. There's more of us than them. We cannot continue to allow these people Oh, this is horrible. I'm not getting any of them, am I? We cannot continue to allow these people to control and dictate to the majority of the country their antiquated, uh, bigoted, racist, homophobic, anti-intellectual rhetoric. It is dangerous. It is um, scary to think if they truly had their will, their desire. Um, People like me who has committed no crime would be in prison or dead simply because I'm gay, simply because I have an attraction to people of the same sex. Um, Something that I have no control over, just as any heterosexual person doesn't make the decision to be attracted to someone of the opposite sex. I don't make a conscious decision to be attracted to someone of the same sex. It's just part of my genetic makeup. It is who I am. Okay, guys, I have to jet right now. I've got to get ready to go to the store and pick up a few things. And I will try to come back and live stream. We're gonna stop the game where we are. Um, and I hope that you will like and subscribe and come back to my channel later. Boys, come on now, stop. Both of you need to be good and stop. See you guys later. Boys, come on now, stop.